Hey guys, and welcome to another burglar jeering video. First of all, English is not my native language, so please forgive me all the mistakes I make, but I will do my best. This video will be all about the redline burglar, simply because I don't play the burglar in yellow or blue line. And I will mainly talk about PvP, as I rarely PvE with this char, as the burglar is not a very desired class for player versus evil. But don't get me wrong, you can of course PvE with a burglar when you trade in an effective way to do it. So just don't take this video as a guideline to trade as a yellow burglar. Alright, let's start with my gear and setup. I will just scroll over all the jewelry and gear I have. Okay. As you can see, I'm mainly using Supreme Essence of Masterful Agility. Of course, this build is mainly focused on doing damage, as much damage as possible. I'm using 2 finesse essences, I think. Let me check. One here and the other one here. Combined with the dagger, I'm at 10,600 finesse, which is in my opinion enough at the moment. So if you don't use this dagger, you will probably need to slot 3 finesse essences to get about to 10k. I suggest going for around 10,000 finesse, which is enough, as I said, in my opinion. Besides the finesse essences I use, I'm also using 1 tactical mitigation essence. As you can see, all these jewelry pieces add another 800 tactical and physical mitigation. In the end, this results in 21,000 physical and 17,500 tactical mitigation. Both of these mitigations are capped, and I really suggest capping them, which is really not that hard if you use these jewelry pieces here. You might wonder whether you should use agility or mastery essences, and I highly suggest using agility essences, because when you go for agility essences, you will gain a lot of more critical rating, and due to this, you don't need to equip any crit rating essence to cap your crit rating. The crit rating is at 30% for a burglar, and you need about 17,500 to 17,600 to cap your crit rating. My crit rating is at 32.5%, as I use stuff from the blue line to increase my crit rating. You might wonder why I use these 2 physical mastery essences. That's because they add another nearly 800 crit rating, and I just needed it to cap my crit rating. That's why I choose to run 2 supreme essences of physical mastery. No matter what you do, make always sure to cap your crit rating when you play in redline, because without capping your crit rating, your DPS will drop by a lot. What else do we have? Yeah, maybe I should talk about these two senses. Both of them are class senses. You don't need to use these senses, but I like them, and that's why I use them. One of them adds minus 10% critical defense on the target you hit. And these minus 10 crit defense result in higher damage. And I'm pretty sure that these minus 10% offer more to your damage than putting just one more agility or mastery sense into your jewelry. And simply because of this fact, I think it's useful. And of course, not only you, but also the other guys who hit your target will hit harder. A sense of the gambler. Yeah, to be honest, the more morale you have, the more useful this sense is, of course. And the most my morale is about 20,000, and 10% of that is 2,000. So if I get healed once in a fight, I think it's still worth it using this sense. And if you're lucky, you get this effect 2 times in a fight, and that's 4,000 morale, even if you run this low morale as I do. Okay, I think I showed you all the senses I got. Let's move on to what kind of gear I use. And as you can see, I'm using 4 times Ambusher and 2 times Thrill Seeker. The Thrill Seeker set drops in the featured instances and is quite easy to get. Just run them a few times and it will drop for sure. And the Ambusher set drops mainly in tier 2 runs of the Pelennor instances, which are the Black Serpent, Silent Street and Quays of Holland. If you're lucky, you can also get them in tier 1, but they will the drop rate in tier 2 is much higher. And as a burglar in Redline, there is really no better set in the game at the moment, in my opinion. And it's hard to argue there is a better set, because this Ambusher set, the fourth set bonus of the set, will make your aim cause the next attack to be a devastate. And this, of course, is very, very strong, as if you combine this with coup de grace, all of your free attacks will be devastate. And to be honest, this is really overpowered at the moment. Free devastate coup de grace hits are just too much. The burglar's overall damage is not that high if you compare it with the damage of a runekeeper, for example. But the burglar's burst damage is just too good at the moment. I quickly wrote to the moose to show you what I mean by this. Yeah, let's choose this heavy training dummy here and see how much damage my coup de grace does. We've got 3 outposts at the moment, which result in 96,000 physical mastery. Let's see. Okay. So my coup de grace hit for 67,000. Which is, in my opinion, too high. Because there are Burgs who run more mastery than me. And lately, many Burgs out there are running around using the all-in skill before jumping into a fight. And by using all-in skill, your damage is nearly doubled. And not only that, but your attack duration is also reduced by a lot. So you can easily burst down, 200,000 morale within seconds. Of course, there are some creeps out there who have higher mitigation or defenses than this training dummy, but it's just too strong at the moment. And by making one skill that good, you always tempt many guys out there just to abuse it by running around and just using this one skill, nuking down lobbies and run away. And this is not what the Burglar is about, in my opinion. In the past it was mostly about debuffing, timing your stuns and dazes, and winning a fight this way, and not just nuking down a target as fast as you can and then run away. This is of course just my opinion about the Burglar class, and everyone can play the class the way he or she wants. So let's get back to the gear. As I said, 4 pieces of ambusher is a must use, in my opinion, when running in redline. But not the 2 Thrill Seeker, as the plus 10% run speed is really nice, as it only adds this it also adds this run speed when you're in combat, and you can run just extremely quickly as a Burglar now. Let me show you. Drink a coffee first, and I'm can sneak faster than I can run around without sneak. It's really, really fast. You are nearly as quick as a guy on a horse. So the sets make sense to use, in my opinion, and I really like the speed because speed is power. But to be honest, I haven't tested playing without any Audacity armor yet. At least I've maybe tested it for 2 or 3 days, and I cannot tell whether I will keep it this way or change back to 2 Audacity armor pieces. So maybe instead of using this Thrill Seekers pieces, I will switch back to 2 Causeway pieces. I just got the feeling that I'm a lot sturdier using 2 Audacity pieces, not only because you gain the Audacity, but also you get a lot of crit defense. And my crit defense is at 3,200 at the moment, and before it was around 10,000, which is a lot better in my opinion. So I might switch back to 2 Causeway pieces instead of the ancient Thrill Seeker stuff, but I'm not sure yet. If I switch back, I will keep the Thrill Seekers for out of combat to run around, and maybe just switch before entering combat to 2 Causeway pieces, even though, to be honest, I'm quite tired of switching my gear, and I'm really happy that I finally got my ambusher set full, and I'm not longer forced to switch set for the Devastate Aim skill. Now keep in mind that when you use any level 100 jewelry or item, you cannot slot the new essences in, because the new essences can only be slotted into items which have a maximum level of 105. So I tend to go for the 105 stuff. Okay, I think I covered all of my equipment up. Let's move on to the legendary stuff. Let's start with the weapon. I've got bleed damage, subtle step damage multiplier, critical chance damage, sorry. Coup de grace damage, cunning attack bleed damage, feint attack damage, and crit response skill damage. In my opinion, these are the best legacies you can slot. Of course, feel free to slot the stuff you want. It's just my way of playing the Burglar. The relics, yeah, as you can see, I'm using the insignia of subtly, or I'm not sure that this was spelled correctly, but anyway, this will, I'm using this in my weapon and my bag, and this insignia offers your subtle step skill the chance for apply a minus 50% incoming healing modifier on the target you're attacking. 20% chance, as I got 2 of them equipped, and in my opinion it is absolutely worth it, because you lose a little bit from not getting crit or morale or whatever, but 50% or minus 50% incoming healing is really a lot. And when fighting a healing class, you can cut the healing in half, and because of that I really suggest using it. You've got, with all the new Ascent stuff, you got so many slots to fill that I highly suggest using stuff like class essences and insignia like this. But again, you don't need to use it. Just in my opinion, it's worth using it. Okay, I think that was all about the weapon. Let's move on to the bag. I've got skills critical multiplier, dust in the eyes mischance, reveal weakness incoming damage, sneak movement speed, gamble chance, agility, and positional damage. The skills critical multiplier, the reveal weakness incoming damage, the sneak movement speed, and the positional damage are, in my opinion, a must-have. The dust in the eyes mischance is an optional legacy, but also very powerful in my opinion, as dust in the eyes is an area of effect skill which affects 3 targets, and 32% mischance is a lot, so I suggest using it. And you might wonder why I use the gamble chance legacy even though I'm not running in blue line. There's a simple reason I'm doing this, because my provoke skill applies a gamble, a disabling gamble, which will mess your target, as I'm chose to put quite a lot of points into the blue line. And by slotting the gamble chance legacy, my chance of messing a target with provoke is 60% without any buff. But if I go into stealth modus, my chance is 95%. So I've got a nearly 100% chance to mess my target with provoke, and this is really, really powerful. And in my opinion, this makes the blue line so not worthless. It would be exaggerated, but the strongest thing in blue line is the provoke mess, in my opinion. And this mess you can get in red line by running the way I do. And the cool thing here is you not only get a 95% chance to apply this gamble when your stealth is activated, but also if you use your feint attack. Let me just show you what I mean. Because feint attack will simulate that you are in stealth. So at the moment, mess chance 60%. Now when I'm using feint attack, the chance goes up to 95% chance. And a 30-second days is really, really nice, and it can even be longer, depending on the tier your gamble will hit.